All right, my friends. Thursday, April 9th. So let's do a little check-in. What are you noticing? What have you been finding today? Or any inquiry you've done? Share about that too. But um, yeah, I'll go backwards. We'll start with D.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so what to choose? I think the main thing right now that's stressful for me
Mhm.
is something with my sister. I offered about it's probably a month ago now. I offered to send her some money because she was her teaching job was canceled and she was going to lose income for the because of the virus. And so I offered to send her some money, um, and she said no. And then every now and then she calls me to like complain about her money situation or how hard it is
Mm.
or and so I keep reminding her, well, you know, I offer my offer still stands. Can I send you? And she keeps saying no. She kept saying no, and then we had a fight about something else, and then I got a text, and she's saying, "I'll take your money now." So I have this like cringy,
Mhm.
now I don't want to give it just on principle, like I don't know. It's like this.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
That's a good situation. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's very interesting. Yeah.
it's yeah. You know, I feel bad that I'm not generous. Like but it's not to do with the money. It's to do with how she was how she treated me, or how she's treating me.
Hmm.
And now, there's
That's good. I would, that's a good, it's great for a worksheet, like you get it all the ways and go ahead and be unedited and all of that. And, it makes sense when something feels off. It's hard to feel generous.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep. All right. Abby, how about you?
Hi.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that a couple of things popped up in my mind and a couple of interesting thoughts today. I've been able to observe a little bit more easily today, which is nice. But one was I started Marco Polo with my cousin who lives in Denver. And I haven't seen her, I think, in probably a couple years, maybe last year. I can't even remember. And yeah, no, a couple years. And I had this thought as I was listening to her Marco Polo or leaving her one that I felt like I was going to disappoint my family for gaining weight. And it was just an
Hmm.
interesting realization to have that feeling of like, I'm disappointing my cousin because I've gained weight since the last time I saw her.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And I found that curious. And the other one was another thing about weight that I feel like my mom said something a little judgmental about someone because of their body shape, and I
Hmm.
felt this immediate defense and this immediate anger.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
and so I wrote a worksheet on it, but I realized that there's that need. I need her to not judge other people, and
Hmm.
it's like right along those lines with that feeling I have this morning of I'm just shooting people all over the place, and I'm needing them to be a certain way for me so that I can feel okay.
Mhm.
And that's really, I'm realizing, a very scary place to be, because that's an awful lot of external power to other people. And it'd be nice to have that,
Sure.
not have that need. Cut
Yeah.
that out.
Sure. Good find.
Yeah.
That is um, I don't know, it's maybe like the last exercise in the body module, everybody. It's got that, it like that's exactly, you get to go in and look and see what your mother and father said, basically, those two key people. That mother, father, sister, brother, and peers. But what they would say about bodies, because if they're still alive and you're right there hearing them say something about bodies, they probably said something about bodies when you were a kid too.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah. And it's just good to see that step, and it's innocent. It's not going like, aha, it was you, But they're,
You did this.
yes, because they're just sharing the same thing that they heard. Of course, it's like we're all just telling the same story, but good to notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, interesting. Okay, LaKoya is here. Hello, my dear.
How are you?
Good.
I'm in the closet, so you probably won't hear the dog barking. It's a little dramatic out there.
Uh-huh. I love that you got your closet, just go in there.
It's nice and quiet. Let's see
Yeah.
if anyone tries to come in.
Yeah.
I don't have any barricades up, so it's possible, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping for the best on this one, Grace.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. How are you? Any little quick check-in on how things are going?
I'm good. I actually was doing the work all morning today, and I did module. Is emptiness? Is that module 3?
Yes.
All right, so I did module 3 today, and like it was really good for me. There were a couple like kind of self-discoveries that I said to myself, I did a lot of writing. It was very productive. I have a couple questions for you that I'll probably post in Slack, because there were a couple things that I just wasn't connecting. So I'm not sure how to like relate them in my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm really thinking a lot right now just about surrender. So I've been stuck in this place where I'm like, I don't want to have my body look like this. And I thought to myself this afternoon, like, but you're a woman, right? And that's not going to change. Black, that's not going to change. So like right now, this is the body that you have. Like it's no different than being female, being married, being a mother. Like, why am I fighting this so hard?
Wow.
Like, why is this such a fight? Why can't I just surrender and say, like, today, this is my body and it's taking care of me, and I got to learn to love it and be with it.
Amazing. Right. Yeah.
Well, and it just kind of clicked in my head. There was something that you said, Grace, that you probably have said before, but I just heard it differently today.
Oh, cool. Well, and if you get anytime, you can ask a question. If there's something that was like, you said da 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 da. I mean, yeah, in Slack, but even in the call, that's totally fine.
Okay. I'll
Yep.
look through my notes.
Uh-huh.
The only other thing that came to me today was, for every time that someone, and I'm going back to family of origin, like my immediate family and just like paternal and maternal aunts and uncles, for every time someone said to me, like, you need to lose weight, or, oh, like, I think you've gained a little weight, some nuance of that, like the message in my brain, the thought that went with that was, you're not enough. Like, whether that was their intention, I think they were trying to be loving, but how I received it was, as you are is not enough. You have to be different.
So good. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great thing to hold.
Yeah.
In some ways it's like when they say, and they said it right to you.
Yeah.
That can be influential when they're saying it about other people. Like when they go like, oh, that person really, oh my God, they're terrible.
Absolutely. Yep.
Can make a kid go, but they kind of look like me. So,
Right.
or whatever, I better never do that,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Absolutely.
And great to just notice the conclusion. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not enough somehow. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Teresa.
So I did the work this morning on I can't do this, it's too much. I was having two thoughts. I can't do this and it's too much. And so we just slammed them together. I can't do this, it's too much. And so it was so that is like very common for me. This is too much. It's too much. It's too much. I can't do this. It's too much. So it was really sweet to again sit down with that. I've done it before, but to again sit down with it. And so what I learned today is that is like a friend. I can't do this. It's too much. It's like my friend telling me, yeah, you're doing too much. And so the very thing that I create my own hell. I create that scenario of I can't do this, it's too much because I'm doing too much. So I'm seeing that a lot in my life, that I create my own, like what I create it. Like, for example, like my husband and I go for a walk regularly, and he hates it when I walk behind him. He wants me to be in front so he can see me. And I try so hard to walk in front. I just can't get myself there. I always told myself the story, I'm being nice, I'm being kind, I'm letting him go in front, right? And what I realized was, no, I'm letting him go in front because when the boogeyman's up there, I want him to get the boogeyman first. But in that situation, I'm behind him and he can't see what's going on. So again, in my mind, I'm thinking he's going to protect me by being in front of me, but he doesn't know somebody comes up from behind. He can't see. So I'm just seeing how I create this. What I think I'm not. I think I'm protecting. I think I'm doing the opposite, but I'm creating exactly what I'm afraid of. So, yeah. So then after I did the work with, I can't do this, it's too much. It's just more of either I'm not enough or I'm too much, right? My boobs are too much and my soul is not enough. Who I am is not enough, but my stomach is too much. So.
We can all just take a deep breath. It's good. It's so sweet. It's so precious in a way to just watch that mind do its little commentary. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's true. Thank you. That story is a great little story because it's kind of even just on a walk, that the orientation too is, and not that you're wrong, but we have to watch out for what will happen. There's like danger. And not that you don't want someone like, the strong sentry, like we have in the feelings module, the strong sentry who's at your gate. Cool. But like all the time, gets a little, yeah. So thank you. Good. All right. Laura. You might have to unmute yourself. There you
go. You kind of spoil me sometimes. You unmute me, so I'm just sitting here waiting. Just waiting to be unmuted.
It didn't work today. I don't know why.
I needed to pick my finger up and go over to myself. Know that I can do it on my own. So I did the work with Maggie this morning, and that was lovely. And I woke up angry. I woke up at 4, and I was angry that I was up. And then, of course, difficult to go back to sleep when you're angry, when I'm angry anyway. But I'm accustomed to waking up at 4. It just seems to be my time. And I do like the quiet, but I was angry today, and then I did the work, and that was very helpful. And I've noticed today that I have left my husband off the hook, working on that the last few days. The work I did had nothing to do with food, except that yesterday I binged for the first time in a long time. And today, being angry, I noticed that I wasn't paying attention to my body. I think I overate. I'm not sure. That's how unattached I am. I'm so busy being angry. And it's just at the world, things I can't really do anything about, anything I can't control. It's just, I'm done with all of, I went to the grocery store without a mask and without gloves. I'm angry. I'm done. And I'm not sure I'll do that again. I'm not sure what I'll do. So I spent the day angry.
Did you see?
I was out of touch with my own self.
Yeah, which is really, I mean, what an amazing thing to just be observing, you know, like anger. Somehow for you, but I hear you saying is not, I'm out of here. I'm kind of out of here. I'm out of here, including in the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going on vacation. All of me somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I didn't binge on any kind of nasty foods. I made bread and I didn't binge on that. It actually turned out right this time. I was grateful for that. I actually got flour. I was grateful for that at the store. I got there early enough that we live in a very small town and a very small store. So we get shipments every Thursday, and I got there and I was able to get bread flour, and I was grateful for that. But I was so angry that I really couldn't feel that gratitude. And it's almost like I just need a vacation.
Yes. Did you, when you were, so I know you said you felt angry today and you weren't even really aware. What about yesterday when you binged? Was this anger?
That was interesting. That was part anger, part more fear. I was worried about my son, and I was back in codependent type thinking, I have to fix him. I've got to save him was my, I've got to save Chase. That was my work I did this morning.
Okay.
And then what was interesting too about eating yesterday, I noticed, was that I was punishing myself. I realized that I didn't know that flour, I didn't even think white flour had life in it. You have to have some life in something before it will die. So you can leave a McDonald's French fry on the back seat for 5 years and it will never grow mold, right? It might get hard, but it never grows mold. I had no idea that white flour goes bad. And so I had all this white flour in my storage thinking, well, I'm all that in a bag of bread. And I try to make bread and it's absolutely disgusting. So I had to go throw all the flour out and hope that I could buy flour, which I did this morning, so not an issue. But I was mad at myself. I was mad at myself for doing that. And so grabbed chocolate chips and shoved them in my mouth. And I did that twice. And then I ate nachos like at 8 o'clock.
It's just good to see. There's a tie-in, there, and the fear.
Yes.
It's like the one I kind of come back to. It's like, I am not safe here. My kid isn't safe. My husband's like, it gets kind of like that kind of, and you have a compassion for yourself for wanting to calm down physically, like even eating goes downward. I just think of that as like something about that motion. And of course it's comforting. We're hooked up like that.
It almost felt like a punishment though.
Okay.
I felt like I was punishing, like I did immediately. I felt the swirling in my head because I had taken out sugar from my diet, not all the way. I don't want to do that all the way, extreme anymore, but enough that I could feel the swirling taking place. And then I don't like that. not healthy, but I did it again.
Uh-huh.
It was
Yeah.
almost like I was hurting myself. It's like I was cutting myself.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Yes.
Took all the distraction of everything else and placed it right here
Yeah.
where it hurt, where
Yeah.
it was bad. We're just going to focus on food. That I can handle. That I know.
Yeah. Well, it's very powerful to have all that awareness. It's just incredibly powerful, more than I think we sometimes know. Like you watch, you think, well, I should have gotten it earlier. Whatever. I need to interrupt that. But just to be able to watch the flow of everything and the wave that crashes over and what's happened. And, oh, I need to punish myself about this. I need to pay,
Right.
you know? Yeah. So, and then luckily time passes and we're back here and it's okay. But like,
Yeah.
nice to notice.
Yeah. Today was much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had flour. Today I can make bread.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Today Chase is not dead and he's not kicked out of his apartment and his little
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And finally, Lori, if you're able to share.
So I did work with a partner for the first time today in a long, long time, and it was very good.
Good.
And because I've recently been on a 3-day binge, I wanted to do the work on that.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was on the binge, I was looking at Byron Katie's book, Loving What Is, trying to find any chapter on addiction. So chapter 11. And so she was talking about when you have shoulds or shouldn'ts. That's kind of those kind of thoughts. So while I was on the binge for the 3 days, I was trying not to say I should or shouldn't be eating this. That wasn't part of it. Whether I ate it or not was irrelevant. And I was trying to keep that attitude totally irrelevant. And she uses her experience about smoking, but then, and in chapter 11, she writes about drinking, but I substituted the words eating for drinking.
Uh-huh.
And then a few sentences in, she said, who would I be without my should or shouldn't? If you think overeating makes you sick, well, I'm going to skip that part. But so we investigate the thinking, not to stop eating, but to stop any confusion about what food will do. And if you believe you really want to keep eating, just notice what it does to me. There's no pity in it, no victim in it, no should or shouldn't. And eventually, there's no fun in it, just indigestion. So when I did my work this morning, I was trying to come up with a couple ideas. 2 of the 3 days I was eating a lot of licorice. So my belief or thought was either licorice is fun to eat or licorice will make me happy. So I did the work on, we picked licorice will make me happy. And it was really kind of nice because I didn't quite understand what Byron Katie was talking about. But I think by the end of doing the work, I kind of understood it's not, the licorice is just an object, and it's really what I'm believing about the licorice, or just my beliefs about, if it's going to make me happy, which of course it didn't, but but it was nice to go through this binge without the victimization or the shame, and or thinking that licorice is good or bad. It's neither. But anyway, it was helpful, and it was the turnarounds were good, and I liked that. But man, I just need to really and I think that link that you sent this afternoon, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Yeah.
being really curious and aware.
I'll put it in Slack, you guys, because I
Yeah,
shared it in the different Facebook group,
yeah.
general group. Yeah.
Plus, what I liked was, heck, if I really, really want to, if eating is where it's at for me, then she was saying, Byron Katie, by all means, keep doing it. Just question what you think that food is doing for you. And then eventually, if you're noticing, because for me, I got severe acid reflux from the
Mm-hmm.
black licorice. It was really getting painful to the amount of heartburn that was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just
yeah.
nice to notice that
Yeah.
licorice is so fun.
Yeah. I like to think of it as it's not an idea that's really of mine, but it's the word enchantment. There's either enchantment with food or even enchantment with the plan to not eat it, whatever anymore. You know how you get all excited if you're like, I'm going on this special plan. We've all done that. And now I know, everything's going to be great. It is great for a moment. And there's some place that is neither one of those things. They're both like kind of offering this like enchantment, like a fairy tale thing, but it's not really the real thing. You're under an enchanted spell. But
Yeah.
interesting to find that thing in the middle. Like, yes, I can question, it tastes so good. It tastes so good. And then also, because that might be a place, before the heartburn thing happens.
But I think for me, because I was feeling anxious before I started the binge, and the first few bites does relieve the anxiety. You get that little shot of dopamine. But when I was getting full,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, I put the lid on the licorice, but I kept popping the lid off and taking more and putting the lid on and popping it and taking more and putting the lid on and popping and taking more. Because the anxiety was still there. So the belief that this licorice is going to relieve my anxiety, sure, for the first 5 minutes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But in the 3 days, my anxiety level was still there. It was still there. So just noticing.
Yep.
Just noticing is this what I'm believing about the licorice in this example.
Yes. So good.
Is how true is that?
Yeah.
What I'm believing, what I am absolutely believing and putting my well-being on.
Yes. Yes. So I love this. I love what Lori's brought up, and actually some others in your reporting of what's happening. It's like just noticing that mind that says it's against this and it likes this. I like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I like it. I like it. Constantly that's what it's doing. And to notice this anxiety that's happening before the food, and it almost seems like they're right on top of each other. They're so fast. But to notice anxiety, right? That is the thing. Like if we slowed that down to slow motion, you imagine yourself, because we live our lives and it's so fast. But there has to be, before you have the thought of wanting to eat something, there's a pattern you've done. When I get this feeling or even get a glimpse of it, or it smells like anxiety's coming, we're going to just go get some food, or it's just going to come interrupt. It's a good pack. Kind of works a little bit, not really, because that's why you're here. But my thought is to let's look at that being uncomfortable or having anxiety, right? Having anxiety running. The way to be in touch with it probably best is just to see what has made you feel anxious. If you can identify it. Could you identify what made you feel anxious, Lori?
Oh yeah, I was feeling great for about 2 days, and I became anxious that this is. It was.
Oh yes, it's not
Yes,
sustainable, right? You
it
shared.
wasn't sustainable. I didn't know how it came upon me, and I was beginning to wonder, how can I keep this going?
Yeah, gotta
And
keep.
then the anxiety came up.
Yes. Okay. Which is an amazing example, right? Because often there is, I either need to keep this thing or I need to get away from this thing. I need to keep this thing, I need to get away from it. It's simple. So just see, anxiety appears because I need to keep it. Anxiety appears because I need to make sure that doesn't happen. So everybody, see if you can find just one example. Might have just happened, and Lori, you can be doing if you want. I need to keep this peaceful eating going. So let's just hear your situations. You just share what you see. So Teresa.
I think I need to keep their, when I think about why I do, I think I need to keep their approval. I need to keep their love. I need to keep them happy, meaning my children and my husband.
Mm-hmm. Good one. I need to keep them happy. Okay. Abby, how about you?
What popped into my head was it's been a while, like a couple years, that I've felt like I have energy to exercise a little more like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And the past couple of weeks, there's been a day or two here where I'm like, oh my God, I have energy. Like I wanted to expend the anxiety I was feeling via exercise, because my body felt like it wanted to move and I had the energy. And so I noticed myself going, I need to keep this going. I need to keep this energy so that I can exercise again. And that is definitely a mind crushing thought that makes me sort of start. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah. Okay. Need to keep my energy high. Yeah. All right. Dee, how about you?
I'm not relating it to the situation with my sister, but I did have the thought that well, because of the lockdown, I'm not shopping as much, and so I'm cooking a little bit more, and it's actually made it so my eating is more balanced. And so things were going smooth, and then I weighed myself, and it was like a confirmation that it's good, because I'd lost a few pounds. And then the thought was, I need to keep this going. I need to stay with this. And actually, I also last night went completely crazy with food. Oh, so I can find it.
You're not such a good thought. I need to keep it going. More scary than we think. Okay. Yeah. All right. LaKoya, how about you?
Thanks for unmuting me, Grace.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I was like Dee. I've been home a lot, cooking a lot more. Unfortunately, unlike Dee, I've been baking a lot more too, and I have not weighed myself. But I'm just trying to find pleasure in eating. But sure enough, I was watching some show, I don't know what it was, and there was a segment on, like, oh, a new way to lose weight. And my first thought was, oh, I should try it. Like, my first thought, before I could even think about anything else. And then I said to myself, all right, take a breath. It's not about losing weight. You're all about just, trying to get to acceptance, and I'm giving myself the speech in my head, but it's just so amazing how that's like my first thought. Ooh, something new. Let me try it. What's it about? What are the parameters? Does it fit for me? How can I make that work?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So good. Good to see it. I need that. I need that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I need it
sometimes
like
that can
yesterday.
help. Yeah. And sometimes I can help. Like look at the things I've said about having a plan. You really can do your own plan and start to get that feeling within yourself,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
possible. But it's like, yeah, just watching. I mean, you just hold right onto that. I need that. I need to go do that. That can be your thing that you need. Yeah. All right. And Laura, how about you? Oops. Oh, I
At the same time. Okay. All right. First of all, Koya, I had the exact same experience as you, and I went on all my social media and changed all my ad preferences and said, not interested, not relevant, don't talk to me about anything about weight. Last night I was like, don't bug me anymore. But this is going to sound, okay, I'm reading Katie's book, Love, Approval, and Appreciation. Yeah. So Facebook for me, okay, here we go. Facebook for me is like one of the very few places, very few times in my life I've actually been authentic, that I've granted myself that right. And it all happened because of Hannah, because after her death, I got on and mourned out loud. And I don't know about anybody else, but grief, that kind of grief, just is real and guttural. So learning what it means and how it feels to be authentic, there's no war in it. There's no need for approval. I experienced that enough in my own little Facebook world that I cherish it. Now, does that mean that I don't do things for certain reasons or I'm not manipulative? Absolutely. Do I care what people think? Absolutely. All that. But it's just a very sacred small place that I've experienced what authenticity feels like. Right now on Facebook, it's war. So full of war. And it's because of COVID-19, and there are people that feel this way and people that feel that way. And my problem is that if I was really honest about how I feel, I would offend people and I'd hurt people. And so I'm not being authentic. I'm choosing not to go to war. And I am a little bit because it's leaking out, but I don't want to be there right now. And I feel like I've lost something. And that's what I'm so angry about. I feel like this COVID-19, this stupid little molecule, has stolen something from me. So no, I don't know how to fix that. I don't want to be authentic. I don't want to be at war. I don't want to. So I'm angry, and I don't know how to put that into words. I'm angry at COVID-19 for stealing my peace, and that just sounds so stupid. But
doesn't sound stupid at all. It's great. Like very simple, very clear, very simple. I just say, yeah, just hold that. Because we're seeing the thoughts that match, the feelings that happen. And sometimes I know many of us have had compulsive experiences. We just say, I just feel terrible and I don't even know why. I just feel terrible. But as soon as you sit and spend any time with, well, I wonder why, it's not quite so hard. I mean, it is, I don't want to diminish any of that, like the way we don't know, but you kind of can, as you relax enough to let yourself know what it is, there it is. And it's just right there is fine. It's like it's COVID-19 thing. Oh, yeah.
And you know, I've been mad all day long that I haven't slowed down. You know, I've been angry, I've been resisting food, and not so much even that, I've just been angry. And it wasn't until this moment when I gave myself permission to even feel it. I mean, I knew what to do with Facebook and people and things, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there's so much there. There really is so much. I'm just angry. I'm angry at the powers to be that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. All right. All right, everybody. So you can have your, have your sentence, have your concept. There'll be a short sort of power inquiry, but we still got plenty of time, plenty of time. So you're just looking at that thing. And I love how we get to do that in the work, just one. You don't know if you find, sitting with the work on this one thing, this one image, this one picture, you're just watching yourself be against, I don't like it. What else will fall down because of that? So even if you have, in other words, if you have in your head, oh, but there's 150 other things that I'm also against. Well, don't even worry about that. We're just looking at one situation. Okay. And whether it's I need to keep this going or I need to get rid of this, this needs to go away. Okay. So whatever you've got, that situation in your sentence, you need that. Is that true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? You need to do that. Keep that going or get rid of it, or it needs to go away. It needs to keep going. Just see whatever you wrote. Can you absolutely know that's true in that situation? Who wants to share what they found? Just your yes or no. Yeah, Teresa.
Mine's a no. Can I absolutely know that I need to keep them happy? It's a no because it doesn't, again, it's the mind games that I play of that's going to make me feel better if they're happy. And it doesn't.
Mm.
It doesn't make me feel better.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Mm-hmm. Let's have one more. Abby, how about you? Your answer. Yes or no? Absolutely true?
Yeah, it was a yes in the moment. Yep.
And are you doing, I need to keep the energy going? Keep the energy up?
I actually was, I need to keep this exercise going.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, good one. Okay. All right. So what happens? So no matter whatever you answered, what happens? How do you react when you think this in that situation? And just really see that feeling that you have. What happens? How do you react?
I start planning. Start planning like I'm gonna do it this, I'm gonna do it then, I'm gonna do it this way, I'm gonna do this much. I'm gonna I'll do this on the off days, I'll do this on the on days. I'll plan it just like this so I can avoid people and not get near them and they won't get 6 feet of me. I mean, it's like and there's like a feeling of this is gonna save me if I can keep this going. This will get me to the other side. This will make me okay.
Mm.
So a little bit desperation, I guess, is in there if I'm feeling that way.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. No, great description of that planning thing that comes in, make a plan. Yeah. Dee, how about you? How do you react? You could say what your thought is.
My thoughts is I need to keep being balanced with food,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the reaction is fear and desperation.
Mm.
It's kind of like I'm anticipating the loop, like I'm on the wheel that I know what's coming. The downhill is coming, and I'm trying to circumvent. I'm on the wheel, but I'm trying to fly up to force it up. But like I know gravity works this way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an argument, and like sadness, like it's familiar. It's very familiar, like this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that description or the image of being on a merry-go-round that's going up, and then even when you're up, you're like, "Yay, I'm on the up part." Good. Oh man, yeah.
It's like good and terrifying at the same time. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, Lakoya, how about you? How do you react? You can say your thought again or whatever.
So my situation was I saw this diet thing on TV and I thought I need that, but I got to know pretty quickly, which is definitely growth, because I would have said to you a month ago, of course that's true. Like that's just understood. Why are we even talking about it? So the fact that I got to know pretty quickly, definitely shows me that I'm making progress. And then when I was thinking the thought, when I first started working with you, Grace, I remember sobbing, and today I kind of felt like,
Wow.
like it's much less painful than it was in the early days, for sure.
Wow.
For sure. Like I don't feel I need to cry about it today, as opposed to in September.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Sometimes you get that little bird's eye view of like, whoa, I remember. Okay.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it might be even noticing just like even in remembering that, and that's a little bit still there, a way less there, but a little.
Yeah. It's definitely still there, but it is certainly not to the level that it has been. And since I've been doing this thing with weight for probably 30 years, I'm going to take that as some progress.
Yes.
Just to say.
Nice. No, that's good. Good to notice. Good to notice. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Lori, how about you? What happens when you're thinking it? Hang on, you got to unmute.
Okay. Well, ditto with what Dee said, and I become confused, foggy-headed. I lose my sense of well-being. The anxiety level goes up. I become restless. I want this anxiety to stop. And I lose my sense of that things are okay, that I had a very nice, and I do the opposite of going with the flow. I guess I'm no longer going with the flow. I'm now fighting upstream.
Mm.
It's, yeah, and the sense of well-being is totally shot.
Thank you. All right. And Laura, how about you? I can't unmute you. Oh, there we go.
Immediately, I saw that I went to war. So mine is that I'm angry with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I saw that I did the very thing that I didn't want to do. That when I'm angry at it, I want to get in and talk to it online and complain about it and I jump right into the fray of the very thing I don't want to do anymore. That I'm angry about being there. So and what I don't see when I'm believing that thought is that I can talk about anything I damn well please. I can get on there and start my own conversations like I've always done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my little Facebook. Come join me. Let's talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. You don't have to take yourself. It's like you don't have to take yourself completely out, where you just get totally.
Or I don't have to be completely in.
Yeah.
Right? COVID-19 does not own me.
Mm-hmm.
I've allowed it to do this. By focusing on it, and I can see where I'm thinking I want it to go away. I can't stand this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go away for me to be happy.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the space to really look at that, because it doesn't matter what they're doing. It matters what I'm doing.
Beautiful. So you're rolling right into question 4.
Yep, sorry. I was the last person you asked, so
right.
There we go.
Yes. All right, everyone. So without the thought, just same situation, without this thought, without the story, without everything you have on it. Like, what if you could you're just in that moment right there, and there is no future? Because that's one of the reasons there's no future. You're just with that moment. You kind of slow down, pause with that, whatever's happened there. It might have even been an idea that came in. I have to keep doing this, right? But all those pictures about what it's going to look like. But so just without that belief happening, without that, who would you be? And just feel what it's like in your body, what it's like between you and what you're seeing, you and what's apparently not you. Without the belief, I need to keep it, need it to go away. I like it, I don't like it.
In the past, when I haven't liked somebody or something, when I really want to rid them of my life, I become indifferent. And I ignore it. And there's a sense of war there. There's a sense of block And since I've started doing the work, and in this particular situation, in the beginning, when COVID-19 first got here, before we all had to hunker down, I was doing a ketamine session and had very distinct experience. I didn't even want to think about COVID-19. It wasn't even an issue for me, and yet it must have been because it was in my brain. And I saw that it was me, it was a part of me.
Mm.
And so I'm sitting here and not wanting to go to war with this thought, but recognizing that I can embrace it, live with it, and still be me, still be at peace, that it's here. I do not have to ignore it, get rid of it. It's a very different experience for me.
Mm.
When I can cut you out like that,
Mm-hmm.
all right? You just don't even exist.
Yeah.
And which is not true.
Yeah.
It's just violent is what it is. And this way feels more like, oh, I guess you can stay and play. I'm going to play over here. You'll be playing over there. We can be friends. Maybe we can have lunch together. But no. How it feels. It feels very peaceful that way.
Yeah. 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 Sweet. Lori, how about you? Without the thought, need to keep this. Is that what you're doing it on? I think yep. Oh, good.
Okay, great. We're not gonna play unmuting more. Okay. Well, I was thinking, without a future,
Mm-hmm.
slow down, pause. What does it mean? What does it feel like in my body?
Mm-hmm.
So mine was, I need to keep this peaceful eating going. So if I can't have that belief, and when the peaceful eating subsides, I was just thinking of my daughter-in-law with the triplets. They were in an airport and the flight was delayed 6 hours. So rather than, so she had to figure out, okay, what to do with 6 very active kids. It was not expected. And they survived.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I was just thinking, when, things happen, so when the peaceful eating subsides, and maybe it's when you say, is it something you like or is it something you don't like? Well, it's not something I like, but it happens. And it's like, okay, I got 6 hours in this airport with triplets. how can we how can we make this work in as best possible way possible?
Mm-hmm.
So when the peaceful eating sort of ends, how do we surf this in the best possible way, or ride the wave, so to speak, with no future, right? Can't think about any future, no future, just right now, How this opportunity for
Well, I love yours.
can I
Actually,
best survive this?
yeah, and you were experiencing peace, and you had the thought. As I understand what you said, you were having peace, and then you had the thought, I got to keep it.
Yeah.
Or it even wasn't peaceful. So that's interesting. And
that's what that's what ended it quicker than it would have.
Yeah.
It might have lasted another 2, 3, 4 days. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think because things always change, that I think at some point it would have ended, or I would have had my emotional life would not have been as serene at some point. So when my emotional life is not as serene, do I need do I need peaceful eating to keep going? Do I need a good sense of well-being to keep going, or when it's not? So my thought is, if I can't have that thought that it has to keep going,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's not going to keep going.
Yeah. Good one. Good to catch.
But do I have to follow? Do I have to react back? Really? Do I have to go off the deep end when it's ending? Do I have to fall all apart when it's ending? Do I have to? Yeah.
And this is interesting. You know, you guess everybody can watch. Like I notice I still have disturbing thoughts. I have disturbing feelings. Adrenaline rushes through me about something when I hear a piece of information. That is human. It feels like it's human, at least for me. You know, there's not peace all the time, 24/7. You know, there's lots of emotion. In fact, there's more emotion, I would say, more clarity about what the emotion is than there used to be, when it always would transfer over to, and now I'm going to do something with food or exercise, you know, or a plan. But so it's not, those are good to unhook from each other, that, you know, you're expecting yourself to be peaceful, like smooth sailing, and then your eating's peaceful, you know? Yeah. I don't.
It's when the rough waters happen.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Just realize that, like you were saying, food doesn't help them. In fact, it helps. It seems to work. I don't know. It just got more interesting to look at them instead of eat, for the most part. So that's a good one to just see, you know, that coming in. Like I really, and there's still anxiety about being anxious, right? You know, I shouldn't be anxious. Oh my God, what's that? You know, something will go, you know, I hear news, probably when what are they talking about with this virus? What's going on? What's happening? Who did, you know, where? Oh, people, picture of body bags, you know, whoa. And then it just watching it all happen, and fear run, and I love questioning thought, though. Oh my gosh, such a relief. So just noticing who you'd be without the thought. And this is the one you can practice. You can keep on saying, and now who would I be? You know, I like to do that. Green eggs and ham, the Sam I am. Who would I be now without the thought? And I need to keep that going. I need to do that. Or I need to get that away from me. And I know not everyone has the I in their sentence, but you turn that around. I mean, that's an interesting thing to look at itself. I need to do it. Who would you be without that thought? So turn your thought around, however it works best. I need to do it. Maybe the simple opposite. I don't. Or I don't need to do that. I even need to not do that.
I like this one because it's such illusion that I take credit for when things are going right. It's like as if I did it, you know, as if I planned, you know, whatever it was. I think it was maybe a week or so where, you know, the food was just, you know, I ate and I was full and it was done. And then hunger came and I ate and I was full and I was done. And, you know, that just happened. But it's like, I didn't do anything, you know, I didn't plan it, you know, and I didn't, I didn't plan any of it. It was just happening. And so you know, it's not me that needs to keep this going. It wasn't me that made it happen. So like, it's very freeing.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes those plans, they seem so appealing and they're so interesting because I can do something. It doesn't mean you shouldn't. Like, there are great plans. There's emergency prepared service, right? And there's what you do if somebody has a heart attack. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Yeah, it's okay. Okay to have some, but we just will get like that's everything on, and then you can't break the plan. And I don't know. Is it really what I want? Is it really what I want? Yeah. I just knew at some point I need to not do that, was big with the food and eating plan, right? Because I really want to experience whatever it takes to just to know to I don't know, to be with what is without panicking, I suppose. Or even with panicking, I can panic, but remember that I'm going to stop panicking. Like if somebody said, panic and do not stop panicking, you'd be too tired and you'd go to sleep. After a few hours even, I don't know. Yeah.
Grace, that's what I love about the work, because I am all cerebral, or I have been in the past, very in my head, be able to think things through and figure things out. And
Mm.
nothing was sustainable, right? And what the work did is gave me a worksheet, question 1, 2, and 3, to be able to feel it for a limited time, because I knew that I only had 30 minutes with my partner, right? 30 minutes. I listened to the simple rules. So go out in the hallway and we do it, or,
Yeah.
on our person, right? And so I knew I had a limited amount of time to feel, but I got to feel it,
Mm.
which I think the feelings are just so precious.
Yeah. So precious.
And so I want to panic for 30 minutes and then laugh about, oh my gosh, I can't believe I panicked about that, right? But finding myself innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful, right? Like it's almost like, what's the reality? I'm panicking with this thought. And we're not doing it to try to make sure we don't panic ever again, Yeah.
Well, but I had those stories running, I'm supposed to be mature, so therefore I don't panic. I'm supposed to be mom, therefore I don't get upset. I don't have, everything was squashed down. I just shitted myself to death, and I still do. But what I'm noticing in this program, and I know why I eat is because I'm eating my feelings. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
What feelings am I eating? Right? And so I love that. I know that today that it's about COVID-19.
Yeah.
I love that, and having the space to be able to see that even COVID-19 is innocent.
Wow.
I'm mad at a molecule.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. Yes.
Oh, thanks. Better, thanks.
Yeah. So just fun to find your own examples of I don't need to do that, or I actually need to not do that. And it needs to do me. Or if there's a switching it, like, Teresa, what I'm thinking about, because you have other people in yours, I need to take care of them. They need to take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
I can let them, maybe, I can even say, I like Katie saying, I really love these flowers. I would like you to get me that exact bouquet and bring it to me at this time, you know, to us. And that's what I like. And you get exactly what you like. Yeah. And even exercise needs to do me, you know, like I remember thinking do I actually want to lay on the couch all day? Like when when I protest all that athletic training, oh, I actually don't want to do that. I don't really want to do that. So what do I want to do? You know, like what do I want to do? What am I willing to do that isn't brutal and just like balanced?
Yeah, the turnaround was it was this exercise needs to keep me going. So it was like that, where
Hmm.
the exercise I do needs to keep me going,
Hmm.
not the other way around. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 What were your turnarounds, Lakoya?
Um, before I got to the turnarounds, I'm sorry to go backwards. I was just thinking like I didn't have that frenetic kind of um, you know, need to like start doing something because it's so wrong. I gotta change and be different, so I gotta start getting on it right now. It
Mm-hmm.
was less about that. Um, it was much like quieter. It's still there, but it was much quieter than it has been in the past. And so, my initial thought was, yeah, I really don't need that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it, and where I would normally be like, all right, let me get a notebook, let me start writing stuff down. What do I have to buy? I'm kind of just,
Mm.
all right, I turn the channel. I don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
like that was the biggest one because it's so different than how I've been in the
Mm-hmm.
past.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. I don't know, like, does it ever go away? It's there, but it's not as excruciating as it's been. It's almost kind of like grief. In the early days, it's so bad, you don't know if you can make it, and then you get to a point where it's just a dull ache.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's sweet. I think it does. I think it does fade away depending on, and don't even have to worry about what it does, but it's possible for it to, maybe something's always there, you know, like with grief, you know, you'll never just always, so I can see that when I sit there and even think about my eating from the past, you know, but it's okay now, completely
Yeah, yeah.
okay now. Yeah. And I like
I'm looking.
with all that doing, like thinking, you know, with all that, had a lot of doing and planning and figuring out busyness, I need to actually do nothing is pretty, we'll be pretty scared of it sometimes.
It is great. It is very scary, but I'm just gonna trudge through. Like,
Mm.
it is scary. So my husband said he would make dinner tonight. And I have a notebook with everything that we're eating for the next 2 weeks, right? It's just how I organize like my groceries. Like, we know what grocery shopping is like right now. There's like really a point to it.
Uh-huh.
And I said, okay. And he made dinner, and it was proper dinner, like in my mind, proper, right? Protein, a starch, vegetable, that's proper dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so he made, right? Like, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to think
Wow.
about it.
Wow. Yeah.
So, like Teresa was saying, maybe other people can step up and do things. I don't have to do everything. Plan everything, organize everything, take care of everyone, be every woman at all times in every situation.
Yes.
Maybe I can take a little break.
Yes. Yes.
Something to think about.
Love it. It's kind of I like I like Katie saying it's all been a misunderstanding, and it could be mistaken, you know, like what if I'm actually not supposed to be in charge, you know, like a you know, whatever I
Right.
think I'm supposed to be in charge of,
Yes.
actually not do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
That's right. That's sweet. It's powerful. And it is, you know, sometimes with that food and eating thing, I mean, really doing nothing, that's very interesting. because there's planning. If I'm really doing nothing, complete full-blown opposite, that can even be I'm not reaching for food either. Like we're not, when you think you're supposed to restrict it, you go
Yeah.
here and you want to eat. So you're really like being willing to actually do nothing and noticing.
And so when I had lunch earlier, I was just kind of like trying to be still between bites and like really eat and process and just take another bite and not be like shoveling it in like it's all going to go away.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was just like, I think I'm done. Okay.
Wow.
And I just put it to the side and I was kind of done. And I felt full and like in that moment, like full enough where my stomach wasn't growling. And okay.
Yeah. The enchantment goes off of it, right?
Yeah.
Side of it.
Yeah.
You're reaching or having it or not having it, which is big. And you think, but it's a lovely path. I mean,
it is. It's not an easy path. It's almost too easy to be easy.
yes, exactly. It's like, what? That's all I'm supposed to do is kind of like when you're a little kid, like not,
yeah,
or whatever. Anyway, yeah, yes.
it's harder than it looks. That's for sure. Holy moly.
Yeah. Very sweet to be with you all today. I know we're at the end of our time, but one thing I want to share is it reminds me of somewhere along the way, in the inquiry, I thought, wow, that's amazing to have that like a thing as a thing, like, oh, this is so good, like when it's so good to eat that it's just amazing, and then you want to keep eating and eating and eating, to have that actually lose its pull. I remember having this moment like, oh, rats, like I'm not interested anymore. That's kind of sad. Like it used to be, I knew what to do to make something go be so intensely, like just taking all my, like, I know what I'm doing next. I'm going to the store and I'm getting some food, and to have it be like, I don't think I want to, was a weird, untethered, floaty place. It was kind of weird. So I don't know. I just guess I just remembered that with LaKoya, what you're saying and some of what you've mentioned, it's like, but it's good. It's good. Yeah, it is really good. All right. Anyone want to add anything? What a lovely inquiry. Yeah.
I want to add for my turnaround, I need to keep being balanced with my thinking.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I found that just recently I had an argument with my husband, and I noticed that because I haven't had an argument with him in a long time, I'm more aware of how I'm thinking, and I go very extreme, like, oh, we're fighting, then we're getting divorced. It was
right.
it was
yes.
It was so over there, and so yeah. If I watch my thinking and bring it to balance, like, it would be helpful.
Yeah. I love it. Just it's very interesting to notice our catastrophic thinking. It's a catastrophe. It's a disaster. It's the end of it all. This is like, I'm completely a mess, including me. I'm so screwed up. I'll never, always, never. Yeah.
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Yeah.
The apocalypse. Yeah. So it's great to watch and go like, wait, is that true?
Right.
Yeah. Awesome, everybody. So precious. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grace.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Grace.
Laura.